So with the Jets 3-7, this season with so much promise and so much potential, and we're gonna go to the playoffs and we're gonna do the Super Bowl. Not exactly working out as we had anticipated. We're currently 3-7. The season is on life support. And so it makes sense, I think, now to start doing mock drafts. Yes, it's November and early November. It's prior to Thanksgiving. We're already out pretty much, all but mathematically, of the playoffs. So might as well start looking at some of the people we might get in the draft, so that way we can start looking at them on Saturdays and know which teams to focus on, because which teams will have realistic targets for the Jets in the upcoming draft. And we'll do that next.
This is the Frankie from Flatbush channel, where you get complex data analytics, funny as hell, and insightful commentary, in-depth film studies, and so much more. What are we talking about here? Fucking subscribe already. How much value do you really want to get before you just click the subscribe button? It's free, for God's sake. Hit the bloody subscribe button right now so Frankie can feel the love. For fuck's sake, man.
All right, so here we are on PFF Mock Draft Simulator. So here we have the Jets picking eighth right now. Of course, that's going to change, and our needs are going to change, and we don't know who our coaches are going to be, and we don't know if we're going to be a 4-3 or a 3-4, who's going to get released, who's going to get traded, et cetera, et cetera. But like I said, this is really just going to be used to start familiarizing ourselves with the types of players that we could be looking at and therefore should be watching on Saturdays. Now, for right now, with the information we have, it seems like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams are coming back for next year. At this moment in time, I'm not sure if that would be my preference, but it seems like that's the case. Therefore, we're going to rule out Jalen Milroe. We're going to rule out any quarterbacks, on the board. And here, the first seven picks have already been done. And you see just one quarterback taken so far. So if we wanted Shador Sanders in this scenario, or if we wanted Cam Ward, we could take them. But I'm not going to do that for the sake of this exercise. Also, don't really want to get too much into quarterback evaluations. Those are the trickiest. I think Travis Hunter being the number one pick overall is a pretty solid bet right there. In fact, well, no, I'm not going to talk about betting markets at this point in time. But you see, one of our targets has already been taken by the Cleveland Browns, and that's Mason Graham. If this guy were to slip to us, or we make a trade to move up, this would be a great target for us. Now, why do you say that, Frankie? Well, we need some defensive tackles. I mean, think about it. We're going to have Quinnen. We're going to have LT3. Kinlaw's on a 1-year deal. Solly's on a 1-year deal. They could be gone very easily, and we don't have much depth behind that. We got some decent, defensive ends in Willie Mack, JJ coming back, and so forth. Reddick will probably be gone as well. So we do probably have to look at some edge people, but we really need to have some young studly defensive tackles, especially if we stay in the 4-3. Which is, we just don't know. But let's just assume we stay in the 4-3, then we need defensive interior players. Mason Graham fits the bill. He's the first one. You see here is the fourth pick overall. So let's read a scouting report on Mr. Mason Graham so we know who the hell he is. Okay, written by Kyle Krabs. Now, this is a real guy who knows what he's talking about, so I trust him. Even though he's a Dolphin fan and writes a Substack about the Dolphins, he's also just a generally good scouting person in terms of reading scouting reports and so forth and so on. All right. So height 6'0", that's 6'3", 318 pounds. He's a junior. Pro comparison, Christian Wilkins. We could do a lot worse than getting Christian Wilkins. Now, he says here, he's a scheme transcendent talent. That sounds good to me. So this is a guy I would actually think about trading up for if we could. can afford value to any and all defensive ideologies. Stout point of attack defender. Sound good? We kind of need a stout point of attack defender. Win with leverage, hands, instincts, first step quickness, penetration, all the things you want. As a pass rusher, this is poorly written, showcases a variety of ways to attack interior pass sets. Excellent. Figures to continue to develop as a budding disruptor. Excellent. Teams looking for a high floor, high ceiling, tone setter undoubtedly be drawn to this consistent teach tape in the middle. Wow, that's a lot of high praise, to be honest. Heavy, violent, dynamic hands. Excellent. To deconstruct blocks. Refined football instincts. Excellent. Expanding palate as a pass rusher. Continued ceiling and so forth. No, he's not currently a finisher as a pass rusher. We can live with that. Consistency of pad level can at times betray his point of attack anchor, so we can work on that with coaching. Hopefully, we get some good coaches in here somehow, some way. Length appears to be sufficient, which narrows the margin for error with hand usage to ensure control of blocks. Yeah. So this is the type of guy that we want. What a delight Mason Graham is to watch play in the trenches. You rarely hear scouts use words like "what a delight it is to watch this kid." So nimble, fluid, powerful. This is a guy we really need on this team right here. You see the instincts. He gets it, so forth and so on. So Graham has alignment and scheme versatility, which help him quickly off the board. He's a capable A gap defender, but shines in the B gap, where he can stack guards and read blocks before attacking upfield or scrape laterally in pursuit of outside runs. Teams that run games inside will reap the benefits of his low build and could potentially free up more penetration production as a rusher. Still, this is a day one NFL starter. This is what we need. Top 10 overall value. Now, unfortunately, in our little mock here, he's gone. So the Andrew Berry over there snapped him up. So he's a target. So we definitely want to be looking at Michigan, I would say, especially because this gentleman, Kenneth Grant, would also be another target. So we got these Michigan dudes to look at on Saturdays. Now, at pick 6, the Dolphins take Will Campbell, the tackle out of LSU. This makes a lot of sense for them, but could make sense for us. So let's take a look at Will Campbell. Here he is, also written by Kyle Krabs, same guy. 6'6", 6060 means 6'6", 323 junior compared to Peter Skaransky. Will Campbell has been a standout left tackle, but likely faces a more favorable projection to the interior in the NFL. So this is a guard. Campbell's density, foot speed, movement at the point of attack would be more isolated and blah, blah, blah. So he's going to be a guard. Tough, natural strength, so forth and so on. Effective total body power can be applied in both pass and run game. Light feet, 3-year starter. Struggles with framing of speed rushes off the edge. Okay, so for me, this is definitely a guard then. You cannot, in today's NFL, have a tackle, as we've seen with Tyron Smith has had trouble with this in his old age. But if this guy's already struggling with framing of speed rushes off the edge, he can't be a tackle for me, anyways. There's too many speed rushers in the NFL. That's why. So I'm going to move this guy into guard, and therefore he's less valuable to us. We need a tackle, like a real tackle, not just a guy who can go out there and do it, although there's some value in that. So you may want to take a look at him. Ideal fit appears to be scheme versatile on the interior. Lateral mobility, foot speed, plays zone schemes, and the power and vertical push to be a present interior run heavy scheme. Angles are reduced for pass production in this scenario as well, where his firm anchor. So I love a firm anchor. In my offensive lineman, anchor is the most important thing to me personally. Can set a consistent depth of the pocket for his quarterback. First round value. So this would be a great pick for the Dolphins. They need somebody like this. We're definitely not taking a safety. So our choices here now is Kenneth Grant, which would probably be the pick, to be honest with you. So let's see who else is available. Nick Scourton would be tempting. And we'll take a look at Nick Scourton's uh, scouting report here. But all the people, I mean, then, so we said we're not taking a quarterback. So otherwise, but if we did, obviously Cam Ward would be in the conversation. LT Overton and his window would be in the conversation. Abdul Carter, Shador Sanders. Here they have Shador Sanders ranked 21st. Uh, well, it depends who winds up picking in the top 10, but, Ward, Sanders, Jalen Milrow, they're your top, looking like your top quarterbacks this year. And so not a lot of else to really muck about with in terms of this pick. I think we would pick Kenneth Grant. Now, who's Kenneth Grant? This big dude, 6'3", 339. So this is a big Magula, 339er. Kenneth Grant is a big, athletic, interior defensive line prospect whose first step quickness puts pressure on offensive linemen, helps him get in the face of the quarterback consistently. So we like that. Strengths, vertical displacement. Oh, this is written up by Damian Parson. I don't know him as well as I know Krabs, who has his own Substack. Vertical displacement, quick first step, multi-gap defender, high upside, good. Alignment versatility, nice. Concerns, handling a full-time workload. This is something we'd have to look at. So again, if we're looking at Michigan and Kenneth Grant, keep an eye on his stamina. Is he tapping out all the time? He's raw, they say. Push off ball versus run, consistent pad level. This can be fixed with coaching. This can be fixed with coaching. This can be fixed with coaching. This is something to keep an eye on. Wins with power, good. Quickness, motor, and hand fighting. So they say he's got a good motor, but maybe he can't handle a lot of snaps with the motor he has. Versatile alignment, versatile defender, playing the 1-3 techniques. Athleticism jumps off the tape, moves far better than a man of his stature and / build should. So this is somebody we should definitely be interested in. Where's the rest of this? The hell? All right. Well, this got cut off for some reason. But anyway, boy, oh boy. Anyway, this is a guy we should be looking at. Number 78 on your Michigan Wolverines. Oh, there it goes. Do we do? Let's see. One of the best traits is closing speed on the football. That's important. Strong burst, especially in the backfield. Lateral agility. So this guy seems like a perfect dude for us to take, to be honest. Run defender is effective both single and two gapping. There you go. Versatile. We'll know whether we need single or two gapping by the time the draft comes around. Lower body strength to anchor and hold up at the point of attack. Excellent. Ideal run defender against zone concepts because of his quickness. Okay. Essentially parting the Red Sea into the backfield. That's a little purple. Grant is a work in progress with hand placement. That's coaching. But flashes the ability to strike and drive to defeat reach blocks. Remains a raw talent. Battles with pad level tends to. So this is something you got to take a look at. So this is something to watch in the Michigan games. Let's look at his pad level. Pad level can really get you in trouble for this position in the pros in terms of tackling, which we need very desperately. You don't want to come in high, and because that's going to prevent you from tackling, and that's kind of the whole point of defense. The hurdle of being a full-time starter and being game planned against will be new for Grant as he was rotational last season. Jordan Davis comparisons for good and bad reasons because of how big he is. Grant is raw but incredibly talented and gifted. This guy says he's a day 2. We're taking him in the first round. So projects as a high upside, IDL who will align in multiple positions, whether even or odd. So this is a guy to definitely keep an eye on. In this scenario, I would definitely take Kenneth Grant here. Now let's look at Nick Scourton, who's in the range. We might need some edge people, and we might end up wanting this kid, especially if the interior guys are both gone. 6'4", 280. Nick Skouerton, powerful edge rusher who can consistently set the edge against the run, good, while also making impact rushing the quarterback. This is written by Keith Sanchez. Strong, violent hands, good. Versatile frame to play multiple positions, good. Consistently set the edge. Concerns, improve pass angle, that's coaching. So good coaching staff, which we don't currently have, can improve this. Needs to improve consistency of pass rush moves, coaching. Transition from edge to IDL. What is this all about? Because of his frame, his most natural way to convert speed to power. That's good. Because then you can develop moves off of that and overwhelm offensive linemen using leverage and strength to get to the quarterback. Can also win with athleticism. He has a quick and sudden spin move, okay, a Willie Mack move, using hand counters to win the rep. Unique skill set. Skouerton's biggest improvement player has to deal with his consistency of high-level reps as a pass rusher. Okay, it says overall has a unique blend of size, athleticism, and strength. On the next level, he should be a versatile front seven defender who can play edge, but also reduce inside to an athletic hand in the ground IDL. So I think that would be appealing to us right there. This is sort of like the JFM role. Maybe this is the new JFM. Outside sometimes, but also inside at other times. So this kid could be someone to look at, especially if the first two are gone. If in another scenario, Grant is gone off the board, maybe we look at Nick Skouerton as a guy we could take in that role. But in this draft, I would take Kenneth Grant. That's who I would draft. That gives me an A. Great job. That's a good-looking draft. We drafted one dude. Let's see how the rest of this draft looked. Travis Hunter 1, Jalen Milroe to the Giants, T-Mac to the Titans, Mason Graham, Will Johnson, Kenneth Grant to us, then Luther Burden, wide receiver Cam Ward goes to the Panthers. So they're going to have Bryce Young and Cam Ward. I'm not so sure about that. Ashton Genty going to the Cowboys. This is going to be mocked a lot. You're going to see that. Skouerton goes 13th. Morrison goes to the Bucks. Banks, a couple of tackles there. Ibuka goes to the 49ers. I guess they're thinking they're going to get rid of some of their guys they have now, the high-priced ones. Texans get another edge rusher. Well, how many edge rushers do they need? Tight end goes to the Chargers. So I guess all of the former Michiganders, are going to go to Harbaugh. Another edge player for the Commanders. Interesting. And the linebacker going to the Bills. Interesting. And got a couple of tackles going back to back. A lot of tackles going in the first round, offensive tackles. That's what we would need. We will probably start looking at for round 2 when we start doing more rounds going forward. This guy could fall into the second. We're going to start this guy. We'll start looking at some of these dudes because then our next pick is almost certainly going to be a tackle. If we take a defensive tackle, then we got to take an offensive tackle, maybe one of these guys. Who knows? We'll start taking a look at some other dudes. So let me know what you think about all this in the comment section down below. I'll see you next time. And as always, stay frosty.
This is the Frankie from Flatbush channel where you get complex data analytics, funny as hell, and insightful commentary, in-depth film studies, and so much more. What are we talking about here? Fucking subscribe already. How much value do you really want to get before you just click the subscribe button? It's free, for God's sake. Hit the bloody subscribe button right now so Frankie can feel the love. For fuck's sake, man.